A special thank you to Glenn Kramer, Mark Ware, Byron Colley, Steve Dix, Bill Schreiber, Christopher Hunt, Felix Rodriguez, James Rogers, Norman Fair, Daniel Mayer, Kyle Sarpolis, Leland Lampkins, Lonnie Meisner, Michael Douglas, Paul Wood, Michael Scott, Samuel Draney, and Tom Champion.
Okay, new deal. You notice I'm a little clearer? Yeah, I'm shooting on a 4K camera, which I'm showing you a picture of right now. I've had this camera for a while. I've shot, let me think now. 2 films on it and a lot of other stuff. Actual movies, short films. One's being finished right now. And I've got a sound mixer recorder. I've got 3 Sennheiser mics. I'm using one right now. This is the first one I ever got with one of their microphones, which are very, very good quality. They're movie film quality. I've got lights. I got so much stuff because we make short films, and we could even do a feature with this camera. But you know, if I ever get some sapsucker to actually give me a budget to make one of my feature scripts into a film, then of course I would get some bigger guns. But this is a pretty good camera. It's a Panasonic. It does very well. It's 4K. I want to move to 6K down the road because I need the real estate. When you have 6K, you can put, and if you're outputting to 2K, the same thing goes 4K. The last film I did, we had issues with some of the shots, and I shot a master. I always shoot a master first, a wide shot with both actors sitting on a bench talking, and in the close-ups there were some problems. So, and I didn't have those close-ups, or at least in the edit, they didn't cut smoothly, they didn't work well. No problem. Go back to the master shot, which is pretty wide, pretty much as wide as it is on me right now, maybe a little wider. And editorially, I, in DaVinci, pulled in to get my close-ups, and it worked fine, especially because I'm outputting to 2K. Most people will never see 4K if they don't have a 4K set. It's quite large, and they're sitting like really close to it. Other than that, you're on a computer monitor. This monitor over here is a very expensive monitor, and of course makes everything look bad if it's not 4K or above. Okay, so when you're cutting, you have to realize that's going on. And so most people are looking at their films on iPads and phones and TV sets that are 40 to 50 inch in their house, maybe if they're that big, and in general. So 2K is fine. In fact, more than once I've projected 2K on a full-size motion picture screen, and it looks absolutely fine. You would not know the difference because basically video is so brightly colored and so sharp in resolution, it lacks that film-rich quality to it. So I like to dumb things down and give it that film look. So it works really well. However, I will be going to 6K, I hope, later this year, or certainly by next year, so I have that much more to work with. But for now, I'm using this camera because another issue I have is that when I'm using the iPhone, because it's an Apple product and because I have PCs, we also have a Mac Pro. We have a few Macs in the house. But when you try to transfer, just real quickly, I just shot some footage. I plug it in USB to this lovely PC here, which has got some pretty big guns, and it'll get so far and say, I can't talk, I can't communicate with the phone anymore. So you have to shut the phone down, reboot it, plug the USB back in, tell it to go ahead and allow it to work, and then shut it down again, leave it off for a while, then turn it on again, replug it in, and this turns out that it's some sort of algorithm that is this stupid, ridiculous, childlike garbage that's going on between PC and Mac. You know, both computers are really good in my opinion. I'm not a Mac snob and I'm not a PC snob. I work with both computers. But what really irritates me about both companies is as they refuse to communicate smoothly. With this camera, it's got a big card in it. I pull it out, I plug it into the computer, I immediately get my footage. I don't spend a half hour trying to get it off the phone. So I'm going to be using the iPhone a lot less these days. Because I haven't been able to find a small portable, pull it out of my pocket and shoot that isn't, you know, $1,000 to $2,000, and that's ridiculous for something like that when I've got this. So, long convoluted story, but you get the gist. And this is kind of what Slot Car Fun's about this time, because we're talking about video, we're talking about video quality, we're talking about cameras. However, I am going to show you what the next project is coming up. And I think you'll find that the color, the lighting, everything, I don't have any lights on except what's on in here. I do have lighting, I'm not going that far, but it does look better because the lens is clean and it's not some little tiny lens on a phone. So let me show you what the next project is, and that is the Maserati 250F, which was, I saw a photograph, I've talked about this before, from Monaco in 1957, and the car just pushed all my buttons. I wanted to make one. I got one from John Warren, and you can go to his Facebook page, which is MV, V as in Victor, D as in David. Some of you got that wrong. Resins. Mary Victor David Resins. Okay? And if there's something you wondered about, gee, does somebody make a slot car body of that particular car? But we're afraid to ask John. He's got a huge inventory. And if he doesn't have it, there are other people there that will point you in the right directions. In a lot of cases, George Turner has some really great stuff, but he only does limited runs. And then when they're gone, they're gone. And then, of course, there's Osterio. And there's a number of people out there that make unique cars for guys like you and me. We like the old stuff, you know. I mean, that's why I like Scale Electric, because that Ferrari, which I believe was Ferrari's first Formula One car. I don't know all the history on it. I'm getting better at it, but this is a cool car. All I had to do was put better tires on the back and a few other little things and tune it up, and it's really great. But I mean, to look at it, it's gorgeous. It really looks like the car. It's got the big open grille in the front. It really works well. So let's go look at the Maserati. Okay, the other advantage to this camera, of course, is the screen can be flipped around, so I'm not switching between the sort of soft back lens on the iPhone as opposed to or actually, is that the front lens? That was that bright flash just now. Must be aliens. So there's a difference between the two true lenses. It's really apparent on an iPhone. And iPhones are great. Don't get me wrong. They really shoot great 4K, but they can't do this well at all. And that's zoom in without looking the quality going down. So here's the body from John. You saw it in a little preview. It's absolutely incredible, and I need to see if I can actually look at what I'm doing by looking at the screen. So, and I do believe autofocus is on, is it not? Yes, it is. So not very good lighting there, but you get the idea. So, and then it'll focus back again. This camera is fully manual, so I can set it on manual for every single thing from f-stop to shutter speed, the gain, because it's a pro movie camera. So anyway, so this is where I begin with a project like this. This jig right here probably is not going to do the job for me. I'll be moving to this other one. Where is it? For 1/32. And what I'm going to do is, the first thing I want to do is I want to make a frame for this. So somewhere around here I have a pencil, don't I? All right, we'll use a Sharpie. What I want to know is I want to have, and of course my hand's blocking it, so you can't see a darn thing. We're going to have to work on that. And it's going in and out of focus. This is probably where I should have the autofocus turned off. What I'm trying to do is get just a basic reading of where this body is. And it'll be very rough. There we go. So what I want to do is connect this a bit. Didn't get the front at all. This is where the suspension is, or the axles. And I want that front. I didn't get it. I don't care if it's messy. There. So now I've got a basic shape there. And at this point, if I could find that pencil, I would go in and start drawing straight lines for how I want my frame to be built. Much like this one, this was done pretty much free form, but I'm going to do something pretty similar to this, just a little prettier, because now, of course, I have this, where is it? There it is. This big old Weller, 1100 degree Weller that really makes soldering a much more pleasant experience. But basically what I'm going to do, I'll get some brass here, I got lots of it. I'm just going to figure out with inside of this, that's bent, of course. I got this channel stuff too, which is really nice to work with as well, and it's easily bent. But I'm going to end up with a frame that goes from about here to about here. And I haven't figured out what motor I'm going to use. I do have some wheels and tires for this car, and it will they should be correct. But that's where I begin when I start doing a build like that. I want to figure out the dimensions of the body. I had to wait for it, and exactly, I mean, I suppose I could have got them from John, but nothing works like actually having the real thing, and now I know what I have to work within. And we'll start building the car, and that's something I'm going to document. So that was basically what I wanted to do today for Slot Car Fun. I wanted to use the old camera, which is really not that old. I mean, use the professional camera and see how much better it looks, see how much better it sounds, and I'm sure it does. And this lighting is very dramatic. It's like, I feel like going into character and saying, the world will be lost. Lost if we don't do something. And do it soon. I'll stop that. But I have been an actor for a number of years, and I have been in movies and stuff. You'll have to go out there and look for them. I'm not going to tell you what they are. Usually I'm a creature or a monster hidden inside of a chair, armchair, grabbing some famous actress in the face. But yeah, being a filmmaker, I look at a shot like this and I say, this is the lighting I want in my next film. Anyway, I digress. Oh, yes. I'm leaning out and I'm leaning back in because we are, this is going to be the other build I'm going to do. And if these are for those of you that didn't see the prequel to today's episode. And of course, that is the Porsche 917 1/24th scale model that I'm going to turn into one of these for hard body racing at Buena Park Raceway in Buena Park. So I'm looking forward to that. I told you I'd do another car, and I'm going to. I love this McLaren. I mean, who doesn't love a Clamaran? Yeah, Clamaran. That should be a new car. Maybe I'll design it myself and call it a Clamaran. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually a really disgusting idea. So, anyway, thanks for watching Slot Car Fun, and thank you for all the likes, and be sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. I often forget to do that. I try, and then I go back and do it, because in this hobby, I think it's great. Everything that people are doing, the hobby's growing by leaps and bounds, and of course, there are certain people out there that really inspire me and always have, like Dave Kennedy, who's been doing slot car news, and he's been doing it since, what was it, 2002 or 2006. The thing about Dave's show is that he is a professional journalist. He's been a journalist for 30 years, and besides being a great guy and doing the show because he loves the hobby so much and for no other reason, he brings a certain quality to his show that no one else can do, because he's a professional journalist. And he's got lots of charisma too. So if you're not watching Slot Car News on YouTube, on the Slot Car News channel, you should be, because you will learn everything you need to know every Friday about this hobby, where it's been, where it's going, and most importantly, the news. The news, what's new in the hobby, what's coming. He gets the scoops from all the companies, because he's in the business on top of that. And so he's connected with all the slot car businesses, or many of them, and he has a nice relationship with them, so he gets scoops on things that are coming out and early images of prints and stuff. So be sure to watch Dave Kennedy. He's the reason I'm doing this show. And my show is what I'm doing, local California scene, or at least Southern California scene, and racing, the cars I'm building, the track that I'm about to make. Yes, I'm going to be doing a routed track. I'm going to do that this year. I've been meaning to do it forever. We're going to do that. I'll take you through the journey, but I will never do the news. I will never, review the latest cars and stuff. I might get a new car because I saw it on Slot Car News, and run it on the track and open it up and show you and stuff, but no more than that. I will never do the news. It's just not the kind of thing that we don't need. As I said, we don't need no stinking options. Those of you that remember The Treasure of Sierra Madre will remember where that line came from. We don't have to show you no stinking badges. Yeah, well, we don't need options. Thank you, Dave. And all the rest of you who keep this hobby what it is and keeps motivating us, inspiring each other every day. It's all incredibly good, and I'm all for it. So we'll see you next week.